This week we are going to talk tools and talk shop, and it's going to be a little bit more freeform than usual. Welcome to the Brand Doctor Show.
Is that because we didn't prepare for this week? Is that what you're saying?
I chose not to prepare because I figured, we need to have an episode where we're not actually overthinking what we're going to do.
I like it. All right. Where you want to start? I'm good with it.
I have been going down some rabbit holes. I wonder what you've been doing. So what have you been up to?
Well, I want you to go first of all, but I have been doing AI agent kind of stuff. Been doing a course about AI agents. I've been reworking my tech stack, been in Obsidian a little bit.
Good.
So, and then I'm going to be doing, if everything goes well, I maybe should not say that until I get everything signed on the dotted line. I don't like to say anything, but I'll probably be doing some kind of tech review with a company coming up. I'm waiting to sign everything, but that's what we have. That's what we got.
So I have a few different things. I sent you a link just now, PyGPT. I came across it last night, GPT-4 and o1 AI assistant, because I was looking up ways of making my own assistant again, and I've been really obsessed with this recently. And I think that it's really cute when it comes to the idea of like this endeavor. I mean, it's cute because I really wanted to make my own Jarvis, right? I've talked to you about this before. The original reason why I moved to Obsidian was because I wanted something local, but I also realized that if I had all of my notes and content and data locally, I could train an AI on it a lot more easily than uploading it to some kind of web interface. And I still haven't gotten around to it, but I've sent you AI links to different Obsidian stuff. And there's some really cool stuff out there. And a lot of them have really put a lot of effort into it over the last year or two, some of which actually allow you to use like Olama and stuff like that for local, full, secure stuff. And also, just on a side note, I've been selling a lot of stuff finally. I've been like trying to downsize to move, as you know, but maybe the audience doesn't know. I'm trying to move to Austin, Texas. And I'm the closest I've ever been to that. I just need to have enough money to move, essentially, and probably take a trip down there to look around. So I have like 5 or 6 computers, Doc.
Wow. I didn't know that.
It's a little excessive. Part of it was because I needed to have a backup. I had a computer die on me in like 2017, 2018, and that was, around that time. And I was trying to make content, and not having any computer, and you're a content creator, was like really painful for me. And so I realized I need to have a backup. I can't just be doing one tool. And so I realized, okay, let's have a backup. I had my old main PC, my new main PC, my laptop. I bought this little small form factor, like not an Optiplex, but basically like what you would see at a doctor's office, right? And it's pretty useful. I thought about using it as like a streaming PC if I ever wanted to do like a dual PC setup for, streaming. And then I also had the little, I think I showed you guys, but I'll show it again. This little Roku looking stick that's literally a full-fledged Windows PC. It's called the Intel Compute Stick. And while it's not super powerful, it does, run full on Windows. And I might actually get another one of these here soon by trading somebody on Marketplace. But that's neither here nor there. And then I also had another computer that I'm literally just fixing up for my mom. But the problem is, like, I had way too much. And even though I could use that little office computer that I had, I sold it to a friend. And so I managed to get some money. I sold him my old gaming keyboard, and I sold him my secondary monitor, which is kind of the point of this. So now, for the first time in like a decade, I'm using just one screen. And that was kind of interesting too. But save it up to move.
I love it. Would you want to go hardware, software? Also, too, I was going to talk about OpusClip knockoffs, what I like and what I don't like. Also, now that you're talking about it. So what do you want to do? Do you want to rapid fire of tech stacks? Do you want to go a little bit in depth with what we're working on? What would you like?
I want to finish this idea, then I want to go into your OpusClip knockoffs because I've seen all of them and none of them hold a candle to it. So I'm curious to see what you think. First and foremost, I sold that computer and I'm downsizing now, which makes me happy. And I kind of thought your tech stack should also be in a similar manner too. You want to try to downsize and not have too much, but you also want to make sure you have backups. Like if OpusClip died, technically I could use Riverside's clips. It wouldn't be nearly as good, but I could do that. Or I could go on to like some other tool like Chopcast because I have a lifetime deal with them and technically make clips. But oh crap, I lost my train of thought. So what's your thoughts on these tools? There's a whole collection on my site, so.
Okay, let's see. What should we talk about? So do you want to do OpusClip? That's the most.
Yeah.
Okay, so I use one called, I believe it's is it called
Yeah.
Menvo.pro? Right. So this was a tool that came out on AppSumo a while ago. Do you
Couple
want me to
times
share
actually.
screen or not really?
Uh,
Or just talk about it? I can
let's
just
just
talk
talk about it
about it.
for now. Yeah.
So he wants to do less editing. So when we're talking about that, I tried it out. Okay, so let's back up why I tried to do this. I was getting a lot of credits from Opus at one point. I guess they reset my account. I don't have the credits anymore. Did
It
not
probably just
feel
aged out, I think.
yeah, so I'm still trying to get them to get me more credits. So in the interim, I was like, well, Dustin won't stop talking to me about making clips, so let me go do this. So I was using Menvo. What I did like about it was the design of the clips were very different than OpusClip when I did all of the auto features, such as auto sounds, auto images, all these things. I did not use that feature on Opus. So that's that. The thing is, and this is the problem, when you export, the export is so bad that it crashes multiple times
On Minmo?
on, yeah, yeah. 3 or 4 times I've tried it. I was going to reach out to support. Now, what I've noticed is it has a increased amount of errors with exporting or just formatting in general midday. And my assumption is probably the servers.
Mm-hmm.
At night, midnight to 3, I can move very quickly. But usually I'm doing my first edits midday and then I'll start stacking and doing other things at night. So that was irritating. I liked the potential. I thought it was interesting. The UI UX still isn't as smooth as Opus, but as an alternative, I was giving it a chance. But the rate of errors, just exporting very basic things, or how long it takes to compile the clip, was pretty astonishing. So that was one of the things that I wanted to throw it by you. Now, I did actually put up clips or shorts so you can relax, but
No, I won't.
that was some of the problems that I had. So I
It's
recorded
interesting.
14. I did, so if you want to hear my process, I did the 14 clips using OBS in your
Vertical plugin and
vertical.
whatnot. Yeah.
Yes. Then I did 14. Then because the edit, I had to make it a little bit tighter. I did it in CapCut, then exported, then put it into Menvo, and yeah, that was my process.
There should be a free subtitle generator on Opus, by the way. Um, it's interesting too with all these different tools. I was trying a lot out, not last year, but the end of 2023 and beginning of 2024. I was trying out a lot, and so I haven't really touched a lot of them since then because oh, you're gone.
I'm good. It's just my allergies. I'll be right
Oh,
back.
okay. So, and the thing is, with a lot of these tools, the problem was I found that none of them really had either all the features, or they had a lot of the features, they didn't keep up with stability, like you're saying, or they were like really just not that good at finding the dang clips. And so even one of the ones that in the beginning was kind of competing with Opus Video, they first off found around the same amount of clips, but only like 50% of them were actually usable compared to Opus's 80 to 85% usability rate. And on top of that, like you said, a lot of times how they look doesn't really look as good to Opus versions. And I thought that was really interesting. Like, it's not that hard to copy the style of it. And most of these tools did copy Opus's style. And Opus, modeled after Alex Hormozy and Ali Abdaal and stuff like that, anyways, and just other big creators in the space, which is smart, I think. And whenever it comes to using these tools, like I was trying to use Too Short.ai at one point, and I really liked them because they were taking the cross clip and combo route where you could just highlight around the person and make your own talks, which eventually Opus finally added. But it was one of those things where that was something I really wanted from cross clips because that was one of the few things that they had over Opus. And it's interesting too because most of these tools just don't have the team or funding to keep up with Opus, considering the background of a lot of the people working at Opus.
Yeah, I mean, if we're looking at
Like
that,
70 people on the team now, I think, at OpusClip.
really, is
And
it that
and
high?
and I think I don't know if I don't remember exactly what I saw, but I thought it was said something about like 60 million people using Opus, or is it 10 million? Either way, it's in the millions.
Very interesting.
Mhm.
Very interesting.
So,
Um,
what are your thoughts before we move on?
I think it's kind of one of those things where Opus, I just feel like, has just dominated and done a great job. It's not just a marketing like Blitz, where they're not trying to, they're as good as advertised. It's not hype.
Yeah.
And because of that, the rest of
Oh,
the
I was going
rest,
to mention the issues, by the way. Sorry, I almost forgot.
oh, no worries. No worries. You want to go before?
Yeah, so before I forget, so I've been with Opus as a user since what, May 2022? And it's or 2023, I think, maybe something like that. Was it 2023? I think
One
so.
of those years. They all
One of those
merged.
years. They all merged. So May 2023, and it's one of those things where I definitely had that situation where I would get on Opus and it just wasn't working, right? The servers were overloaded and people were complaining. And for a while there, I was actually running, like not running, but like managing the Discord and like helping people out, answering questions and trying to be that like sunshiny face for everybody to like feel community. And it was interesting because people would come in. At one point, they came in with like pitchforks around December or something like that because the servers were completely just not working. And it was because it was just so overwhelmed. And this happened, not pitchforks wise, but it happened a few times where people were really upset that the servers were down. However, Opus would work like overnight to get them back up and expand their server ranges. And they worked really hard to make sure they had enough stability the next time. And the problem was they were just growing so fast. And I think that's probably a good problem to have. And once people realize that, they're like, oh, okay, I'll just wait till, the weekend. And then if someone needed something finished by a deadline, I'll be like, hey, I'll run the video for you. It's working on my end. Depending on your region, it might be different. But it's interesting how like they always really, their support, when you finally got around to them, would be really helpful about it. And then on top of that, they were like working day and night to get it done.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think it's a great team. I think they're doing a great job. It's the most consistent right now, and for what it's meant for, I don't really see that much of a competition. There's alternatives that might go for cutting prices or doing these lifetime deals, but the problem is, I would surmise that trying to scale and have a large volume of users is causing their systems to be bogged down, and it's expensive. I mean, to try to do those kind of things. So, we'll see how it goes. Again, I'll probably have to just reach out to Opus and see if I can do more or see if I can get more credits, but I'm always about trying different things. And like you said, alternatives just in case if another service goes down. So, yeah.
It's interesting too, because I think that when it comes to like social media management platforms, I've always had kind of a bad luck with lifetime deals, and AppSumo probably in particular. So I think both of them were bought on AppSumo. But I think that there's this kind of this quality assurance issue with AppSumo in the last couple of years, where sometimes these partners just haven't been really long lived, and you have to kind of worry about that when you're getting lifetime deals. And I think Minvo is actually going to stick around. I mean, they may be kind of struggling, but they do seem like they were doing well enough. But I think that the idea is that, like, I bought Chopcast's lifetime deal because I knew the founders and I wanted to make sure I had access in case, just have a backup in case Opus like were to die tomorrow, something like that. I'm always, about backups. But now they don't really do anything to it. They're actually focusing more on services rather than the app. And so I don't know what to do. Like, with that money wasted, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. I mean, to me, and maybe I'm just like more on, I feel like a realist, but some people might think that I'm pessimistic. I mean, if you look at the rate of startups, what's the rate of them surviving? So what's the rate of AppSumo like companies being there long term? For the most part, I don't really see a lot of them. They'll either abandon the project, do something else, and just keep it on maintenance mode. They won't kill it, but they won't upgrade it. Or the founders will spin off and do something else. I will say one other thing too. I'm going into the Menvo account. Their scheduling and exporting actually failed on me too. So I was scheduling it on YouTube, and then I noticed, like, I looked at the time, I'm like, oh, it's not there. And I looked into the account and it failed, but I didn't get an email or anything that it was having trouble.
I hate it when schedulers don't actually, first off, email you, but on top of that, find a way to put it back into the scheduling feed. Yeah. That's a lot of tools don't do that, and it drives me batty. Publer had an issue with that, and I'd be like, just add it back into the feed. If it failed, then just push it to the next time slot.
Yeah. No, that's it. That's irritating. So I was like, I'm just gonna download them and put them on, because before I was like, oh yeah, I had to download them locally and then upload them to YouTube. I'll just schedule, and then that didn't work. So those.
Here's
are the
why I
two
don't
strikes.
do that. By the way, I don't do the whole just purely schedule, because think about this. Now I'm going to be doing a new campaign for like LinkedIn and Facebook. I need to get around to doing it, but I'm working on the main content right now. And if I didn't have them all downloaded, I wouldn't be able to do that new campaign
Yeah.
without like just taking from YouTube, which then will decrease the bit rate and quality even further using the repurposing tool.
Oh yeah.
And so I have all of my shorts downloaded. It's probably like 10 or 15 gigs worth, but which, mind you, 10, 15 gigs of shorts is like 3,000 shorts. But yeah, I
That
digress.
is it. And that's something else. Um. Yeah. No. And what are you doing? You're just using external hard drive to hold all of them?
Basically, I mean, I have enough space on my internal hard drives, but I wanted to have it all backed up. I eventually sorted them out. Like I had them sorted based on phases because I was trying to like prioritize, but then I sorted them all out into painstakingly into each folder of each guest. That helped a lot. And I think that's going to make a big deal because then I could just be like, I could just go through 5 guests a day or something like that if I need to drone that over time. What else were you going to say? You had 2 strikes against Minvo, right?
2 strikes was the exporting had a failed, and then also to, um, yeah, the scheduler. So those were the ones where I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm spending a lot of time and energy on this. Let me just talk to Opus or just, hey, that's a novel idea. Maybe I should just do that. But it was a good learning experience. I wrote some notes. I'm going to put that as a blog. I still think that they have potential, but to your point, they are, and it reminded me so much of podcast.co. They're already
God,
launching another SaaS. Menvo is.
don't get me started. Sorry, I had a pretty visceral reaction to that there.
I know. I know. Calm down. I'm trying to see what happens. It's in their Discord where they're like doing a beta to this thing. I'm checking it right now. But that's interesting. They're again, everyone's jumping on, which I understand. It's still AI, but it's AI avatar, so they're trying to do something like HeyGen. I don't think a lot of people can catch what HeyGen is doing, but
Mm.
it's going to be interesting. It's creator focused. Not a lot of creator platforms are going that route. They're doing more mock-ups and things like that. So yeah,
So with Minvo, I mean, also too, the problem with like Minvo and video, they both copied OpusClip's website almost like space to face. Like Opus looks a little bit different now, but this looks almost exactly how Opus did like a few
oh
months
yeah,
back, which is kind of crazy. I also wanted to share with you, I probably sent you a link, these cool glasses that I've been obsessed with. I actually finally wrote a blog post about listing out all the glasses that I found, which I do from time to time when I get into these deep dives. This is the one that I'm most excited about. They have the cameras. You can do like 5-minute videos with a 16 megapixel camera, which I think is the biggest one on all of these different glasses. And it has the AI built into it. And I was like, I'm looking for jobs yesterday. And I found myself thinking like, maybe I could try to apply to them. So I reached out to one of their team members. I was talking to them. If anything, I was like, hey, let's make a video and then we could take those clips and then you could have clips to market online. And so at the very least, we can have a unique kind of tech interview, which I haven't gotten a chance to do yet on this channel.
yeah, yeah. I think that's
Also,
pretty awesome.
since you're not on TikTok, have you heard about Red Note? Or have you heard about all the things that people are doing right now when it comes to leaving TikTok?
Is Red Note or something? Is that the competitor or something? Or
Not
no?
necessarily. So,
Is it
okay,
a Chinese company too? Yeah, yeah, I've heard
it's
about it.
been hilarious. The human, I guess you could say, decency, or the human, oh, no, what's the word? Human nature to want to be in control. And the government in the US is trying to take away that control. And let me just tell you, US citizens have a certain level of spite and pettiness that just brings a tear to my eye. It gave me faith in humanity when I keep saying this entire week, Doc. I have been getting videos about people saying goodbye to their Chinese spy on TikTok, and it's all these memes of like sad reunion or like happy reunions. Like The Last of Us was one of them, or something like that. And there was one about Uguay talking to Shifu from Kung Fu Panda. It's like, you must continue your journey without me. And I'm cackling all throughout this week. And then all of a sudden, when it started looking pretty dire about TikTok leaving this ban, everyone jumps ship to Red Note, which is a Chinese made, produced, and controlled app. And it actually, what people don't realize is that it's not a TikTok alternative, it's a Pinterest alternative. and people didn't realize that. But people are like, hey, let's go over there. Like, people going viral over there. Let's also like just check out what's going on there. Like, if people want to take away, if the government wants to take away our app, let's just go to a Chinese app. And that pettiness has paid off, actually, because first off, everyone from what I hear, I downloaded it, I haven't used it yet, but everyone from what I hear has been super welcoming. And Red Note themselves have been like trying to add in English as a supported language. And on top of that, like it's been just like trolling after trolling. Like all these Chinese citizens are be like, hey, how was your Chinese spy? Like, welcome here. And it's just been super hilarious how the people have been acting. And then like people have been teaching the Americans Mandarin, and then the Chinese people have been asking for help with their English homework, the students. And it's just like, this is a step towards global unification, I think. And it's just one of those things where that's been really exciting. I also found another cool social media app that I was going to show you here in a minute, but I was just like, dang, that I had to tell Doc, because you're not on TikTok. You probably haven't seen this. It's beautiful.
No, I saw it on Twitter. People were talking about it, and I was like, I don't know what's going on. Just tell me if TikTok's gonna get banned so I can stop seeing all of
Presumably.
these things. Is it no, I saw like Elon was trying to buy it or something. It's
They're not going to
so
sell it.
stupid.
TikTok
Yeah.
is like, we're not selling. But I think the Supreme Court might have delayed it, perhaps. But either way, at this point, everyone's kind of, doing their Norse fireboats and like sending it off.
I love this right here.
Share screen.
This is no man. Oh, see then it's Washington Post, but I refuse to pay for them.
Oh yeah.
But I love the headline. It just says TikTok refugees flock to another heavily censored Chinese app. I just love how dramatic it is. I love that right now.
And it's funny because like that's people on the app are calling us TikTok refugees. It was the Chinese people who came up with that like term. They've been trolling us left and right, and it's all been in good fun and games. And it's interesting too because a lot of people don't realize too this. Don't post your TikToks there with the TikTok watermark. There's so many tools to get rid of that. SnapTik, TalkBackup, Repurpose.io has a free tool about downloading your TikToks, and it removes the watermark. Like I'm actually kind of proud of them for doing that. That was a really cool move on their part. And it's just one of those things where like, don't do that. And like they got flagged. I saw this person like, oh, I got my first violation. It's like, well, no, duh, you put a watermark on there.
That is.
Well, Meta also lobbied a lot of the politicians to do this. And so a lot of people are really, really mad at Facebook and Instagram. And so they're like, to hell with Instagram. We're not going, like they thought, like Meta thought, Zuck thought that people were going to flock back to like Instagram after TikTok left. And it's only shot themselves in the foot. Now people are leaving. People are deleting their account on Facebook and Instagram. I wouldn't do that, but like people are deleting their account.
That's crazy. That's crazy. It's one of those things where, again, this is why you are on multiple platforms.
Don't put all your eggs in one basket.
And just start collecting emails. Like you need to contact them off of these platforms, and you need to give value, and you need to own your list, and not just, it does not matter how many subscribers, any of those things. Mm-hmm. Did I tell you I'm going to San Antonio in a couple months for the Justin's Moore? Is it Justin Moore? It's the creator wizard thing for sponsorship.
Nice.
More on that next. The reason I was thinking about that is I cannot remember her name. I guess she is the most, like, has the most views for...
Jenny Hoyos?
Say the name again.
Jenny Hoyos?
Mm-hmm. Jenny, you said? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She's pretty popular.
She was talking about that she was having trouble. She could not work with one brand more than once, and she didn't understand
I saw the post.
Yeah. And I was just thinking about that. She was talking about the book, and I was like, yeah, that's wild to me. But it shows that even you're the biggest creator doesn't mean that you're getting all of these things that are working for your brand.
By the way, she works with Opus.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. See? Small world.
Yeah. No, it's one of those things where the best creators know that Opus is the best. I know that I'm kind of shilling for them, but it's true.
You are.
But the thing is, Doc, the reason why I love them so much is that it made it so much easier to make these clips. And I want you to have that easy too. And I'll use my minutes if I have to for some of these videos. Like I want you to get these videos done. And please take your own advice. Cross-post these dang videos to different platforms. If you don't want to be on TikTok, fine. It's going away anyways. YouTube, Instagram, Pinterest. Maybe LinkedIn. And your best clips on Twitter, something like that, because you have a pretty good Twitter.
Yeah. Not bad. Not bad. Not bad. Yeah. Okay. Cool. What's next?
It's interesting too because I've been going down these rabbit holes and I've been trying to find, like I said, the Home Assistant stuff. There was a really cool device I think I showed you a while back, but it's a Home Assistant like open source hardware. I guess I have to share my screen again. Dang it. But essentially, it's like a little Google Assistant without Google or Alexa, and you can do whatever the hell you want with it. And I've really been obsessed with it. It's like $60. It's out of stock right now. But this thing, I thought about like that little Office PC that I told you about, putting some kind of AI on it, even though it's not powerful enough for a lot of AIs. But now that Nvidia announced their own mini PC for like $300, that is like AI focused. Combine that with this, which this will be the medium that you would communicate with it. Combine that with like Obsidian with a Ollama integration or some kind of local GPT integration, right? That you could have your own little smart computer that's trained on your own data using Obsidian as the bridge between you and that tool, and then use this as the mic and speaker bridge between you. You could create your own dang Jarvis, dude. Like I'm making progress on this idea. I'm still not doing a whole lot, but and then there's like this Pi GPT that I mentioned earlier too. Let's see. I know I had something else. And then so I started my content journey around the modular degree, making your own education system. And so I saved this link a while back, as well as this one, this like roadmap tool. And these are basically more programming centric, but I wanted to take these and turn them into an agnostic topic. So that's what the modular degree is. Like imagine this, but for any topic, and then being able to start collecting these links and start talking about anything and learn about anything.
I like that. I like that a lot. I like that a lot.
We could also talk about the content blitz and our content strategies here after a little bit.
Yeah. No, this is no, I like it. I think so. Are you creating content about like your Jarvis and everything like that?
Not yet. It's part of my first phase of blog post. I will say the first thing I was doing for this blog post phase, or sprint, I mean, was the social blogs. So I don't know if you remember me talking about those, but essentially I came up with this new content type that was smaller than a blog post, but bigger than like a Facebook post or tweet. And it was the social blogs. And the reason why I came up with this idea, and I'm not the first one, because I know like Khe has something like it too. It's essentially like a newsletter length, so maybe a few paragraphs that would go on Medium or LinkedIn or Vocal.media or Quora blogs or whatever. Facebook had a blogging platform at one point, and it was like these social networks had a blogging system, and now that Medium's completely like garbage at this point, it's not worth it. LinkedIn has also been not that great. For some people it's really great, but I think it's really small percentages that really work with it. You have to be super niche on it. And so this social blogging concept kind of died. It'll come back when some decentralized platform comes and becomes popular again. But for now, I had all these posts just kind of sitting there that were like, I tried putting it on Substack, it failed. Okay, cool. So they're either 3, maybe at most 5 paragraphs, but they're cool ideas. So I took those posts and rewrote them into full-length blog posts, and that's about 40 posts right there. And I scheduled them out one per day and added a whole bunch more information to it too. And so some of them got pretty long too, no less. And at one point, I am now scheduled down to like February 5th, I think, or something like that. And I finished that, and now I'm going into the actual first phase of blog posts, and I'm also working on the Polymathy newsletter as well. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm just trying to write as much. I wrote like 40 posts in 1 week.
Wow. Wow. Okay. Okay. That's pretty good.
12. Like I didn't do anything yesterday, but I wrote like 12 on Sunday.
That's really good. That's really good. So, okay. Where would you like to go?
I would like to finish these blog posts, and then I could be finished with this sprint. Like once I finish the Journey to Polymath newsletter and these blog posts, I think the Blitz will be over, essentially. Oh, and also my podcast season, but that's making progress too.
What's your timeline?
For the podcast season, within a week, I need to start really kind of getting off my butt and doing more solo casts so I could finish the episode count. And I've made a few solo casts in the last week, and I had you on the show, and I had someone else on the show that I need to finish editing. And so like it took me a while to edit a lot of these interviews because I had more interviews to record. And then hopefully within the next week, I'll finish that series. And then by the end of January, hopefully finish the end of the Blitz.
Okay. All right.
What about you? What are you working on with content? You still doing shorts? Or are you trying to work on something else too?
What am I doing?
Like is shorts your main focus right now besides like your regular videos that you're making?
Yes and no. So I did 14 shorts, and it's basically...
One per day?
Pretty much, except I'm going to do weekdays, 5 days a week. They're basically what I did was a blitz of versus videos of all of the AI agent comparisons. I saw someone doing it. I was like, first of all, the people in no code that are talking about how AI agents and working in this is like not scalable is so amusing to me. It's like coders saying that to no coders 5 years ago. So I think I don't get in these conversations. Basically, I am editing those probably later today to make sure they go out. I am going to be looking at, so I have basically a blitz of like what I'm going to do and what I'm going to cancel. I think I'm going to stop using the vidIQ coaching.
Mm.
Honestly, I think it's just for me, the scaling and how much time and like the feedback time, the loop is just too slow. And so there's that. The second thing that I'm doing is, okay, so let me just make it very more concise. I am creating all my beginner guides of these platforms. So beginners for Replit, beginners for Lovable, beginners for Bolt, and putting those out. Beginner videos have always done well with me. Those are what I'm going to be prioritizing. I'm
That's
also
good. I
live
like that.
streaming like 3 to 4 times a night anyway. Forgot to tell you about that. 3 to 4 times a night. No, a week. There
Oh, okay. So,
is, that's a little bit out of control. There is
I'm gonna put it past
a
you.
creator that she does a lot in crypto. I'm not sure if you've seen her on my show in the last week or so, but have you heard anything about AI agents in crypto and what people are doing or anything like that?
Not in crypto in particular, no.
So there's 3 different ways people are using AI agents with crypto. Number one, it's the good old fashioned sell high, buy low, where you're basically giving the AI agent your wallet to buy things
Mm.
very, very quickly. I think that's kind of dangerous, but people are making a lot because they're seeing all these micro movements and just buying all the time. Okay, that's one way. The second one is basically using AI agents to talk about crypto. So you're making your own account and you're just saying like, based on this wallet, this is what people are doing. Here's a speculative thing you should do. Okay, whatever. But the third one is kind of interesting where they're naming their agents similar to if they say like an AI, they're making Jarvis, right? But say for instance, they're making Jarvis for dating or Jarvis for X, Y, and Z. And people are paying to speculate how much the agent will be worth. And I still don't, I'm like, it's so highly speculative. Like the utility behind it is so fraudulent, like NFTs, I feel like. But the point is, the woman I was talking to, she built it on stream. She was building it. She was on stream for like 5 hours. 3,000 people started watching spontaneously. She got 600 wallets to buy. Her crypto that she made up, like the speculative for the AI agent, the market cap for this agent went to $187,000 in a weekend overnight. And now she's building this whole community over it, all speculative about this one agent. It is the best and worst about humans all at once. I just cannot believe that. So I'm helping her with like her site and a couple no code automations and things like that. But it's a wild west out here with
Yeah.
agents and everything like that. So I'm going to do a
I remember
video
this.
about that later.
I remember the same kind of Wild West for like just AI in general, or even like automation and no code back in the day too. It's just interesting how these different Wild Wests keep happening sooner and sooner and sooner. Hence why I keep writing about the digital renaissance too. We can get into that next episode.
Yeah.
I also wanted to mention that like it would be really cool for you to make a short where you're explaining the pathway from like coding to like no code to AI agents, and just kind of how, first off, how they all compare, but then how they all kind of layered on top of each other in a way, and just like make a short about it, not an actual full length video. And I think that would be really interesting. And also, you and I both could do these overview videos, which is what I intended to do for all the tools on PolyTools, anyways. Where it's like, have you seen Tech Quickie?
No, let me
I
see
sent you a
this.
link here on the chat, and it's like one of Lions Tech Tips like channel where they just basically explain simple concepts super quickly, and it'd be like a 4 minute video explaining something. And I was like, this is something that you and I both could do on your channel and my PolyTools channel, and it'd be kind of interesting. And then like I
Interesting.
thought doing like a tech quickie for each tool. And like I was like, I can't stand doing reviews because reviews have so much pressure when it comes to like, okay, I want to make sure I get every information possible. Like here's the price, here's all that. And I really just kind of want to do an overview and maybe just mention price and then just kind of give my opinion on it. And that way I could just do a whole bunch of those very quickly, just go through like 30 sites in a night and then like make 30 little shorts and schedule them out. I think that would be the ideal way for me to get through the 1,000 tools that's on Poly Tools right now.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I definitely would. Yeah. Interesting. Interesting. I would also say one other thing that well, no, I'm gonna hold off. I gotta do more experimenting. I have some thoughts on just content growth in general and the splits. Over the last 6 weeks, this is the first time that my channel has grown over 1,000 subscribers per month. So we're at about 1,400. So it's the amount of volume I'm definitely putting out, but it's even I've always yes, niching down. I've always been like, I don't think what I'm doing can niche any further, but from this content blitz and seeing what's happening, even with like AI is taking off those things, but even niching down to like AI agents or what's popping off, I noticed that I'm not doing AI like voice conversational AI. I'm not doing, PDF. It's very niche, but it's a pop off of that, which is AI agents, which is just gained so much traction in the last 6 months. And now bigger people like Zuckerberg and others are talking about AI agents. People are all going to have them. I still don't think that's going to happen for a couple more years.
Maybe
That
longer, honestly.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, for it even to be in like the zeitgeist, like AI and ChatGPT, like it's amazing. It's still amazing when I hear like grandmas talk about ChatGPT. Like it's crazy how much AI has impacted the world. But AI agents are so foreign to people. Oh, I forgot to tell you, I went to that meetup. We haven't even talked. I went to that meetup you sent me in
Huh,
DC, which was interesting. Got all of their
good.
merch.
Hmm.
That was free. So there's just so much. So I was at the meetup. It's about AI, it's about hardware, all these things. So many people were there. They weren't even in AI. They just were there because they wanted, like, they knew that this was a trend and like they wanted to be a part of it. Very few, if any,
Hmm.
like, yes, they use ChatGPT. Yes, they use those things, but I could not tell you, like, most of them never even heard of Perplexity. Most of them don't even understand agents. Like, oh, I've seen that headline. So it's like, we're
You could
not
speak there.
there yet. Where's that?
You could go and speak there the next
Yeah,
time.
exactly. I mean, it was so interesting that there was 100 people there at this meetup, and
I'm glad I sent
very
it to you.
few.
That's super cool. Awesome.
Yeah, and there were like a bunch of people from like they were at other tech conferences, and the other tech conferences were on Luma, and then they looked at what was there, and they're like, "There's not a lot of AI like stuff around here." And then it was at I think it was hosted one of the guys goes to I think it was George Washington or something, Georgetown. No, he went to Georgetown University that was hosting it. So a lot of college kids plus like these tech or tech adjacent people were all there, but it just showed me my content. You can still speak more clearly to a very specific audience that I think mentally, if anything, with this vidIQ and doing so much like a hyper focus on content in the last 2 months, you can still dial it in more. Like there
Hmm.
are a lot of things that I think my own beliefs were limiting of like, wow, this isn't going to work. I'm just going to put this on autopilot. I can't do this on this channel. Or the sheer fact that even with Patty and others were like, you're a search channel, like you can only go so high. That's true. But depending if your search volume goes up naturally in the world, you can still go up. And I think
Yeah.
that's what's happening with AI and no code that yes, it has been a baseline for many years, but these tools are so close to AI or AI assistant or infused with it. Now there's a loop up. So,
I definitely had that same kind of realization with the PolyInnovator channel, my first channel, because I felt like I realized this about a year and a half ago that I'm just not going to grow, at least not very fast. And I know that there's things I could do to do better, like just doing those shorts made me grow from 350 to now 560 or like 600, something like that. And so it's one of those things where obviously, yes, I could do more myself and do better. And especially since I've been so inconsistent with my solo content, which is the growth engine, I think that like I could do better. But I realize that it's more of an evergreen thing, the polymathy kind of idea. The knowledge management is probably actually going to make me grow a lot faster just because that's what people are actually searching for. But there's people who are searching for, what do I do when I have multiple hobbies? What do I do when I have multiple passions? And am I a jack of all trades? And that's why polymathy might be my topic. But to me, I see it as the kind of the umbrella to all of those different terms. That's why I created the multidisciplinary spectrum where it's like multi-potentialite, jack of all trades, whatever. But I kind of had to accept the idea that that channel is going to grow slow. It will probably grow consistently, and it'll be kind of like Linus Tech Tips. Linus Tech Tips took like 10 years to finally grow to like 1 million subscribers, something like that. It took a long time, and then it blew up. Now it's like 15 million subscribers. And it's one of those things where I feel like it might be more similar to that if I'm not a tech channel though. So like this channel is a tech channel. That's why I made PolyTools as a separate channel, so I could have a tech channel that could blow up theoretically. And the gaming channel, if I would actually work on it, would also theoretically be pretty rapid to growth.
Yeah, no, a lot of good things, a lot of possible things now, and
Two
just
things for you
reframing.
though.
What's up?
Did you reconsider unlisting a lot of your old videos on that Doc Williams channel?
Did I reconsider like making some of them public?
Yeah.
Some of them I'll make public, not all of them. Not all of them, but some.
Okay. You should go in there today and make some more. Because like, just think about it. You don't have to make any more videos. You've already made them. You're just releasing them again to the public, and so more of them can be discovered.
Yeah, well, it was funny that you mentioned that because I was talking to my wife. So I'm doing something with AI, an AI editor, but there was a thing that, okay, basically when you're coding, you have to set up your settings in a very specific way. Mac, when you're setting up your device, it seems very intuitive to know where the folders are, but you have to do this very specific setting thing. Anyway, I had this video that I enlisted years ago, and my wife's like, didn't you have that video? Like, I was like, where's this stupid thing? She's like, didn't you make this video? Wasn't it one of your most popular videos? And I was like, yeah. I should unlist that, and I should make like a 2025 version of it because it's very simple.
Web 3.1?
Say it again.
Web 3.1?
No. Well, I just did a Web3 one. Let me search for it. It is Mac folder. Hold on one second.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, how to find your user folder on Mac. And let me show you how many views is on this thing. I did 2. Hold on. So this was 4 years ago. I enlisted it years ago. They both have 13K on them. And Sabrina's like, why would you? And I was like, maybe I should just do it again. It's the dumbest thing. Go ahead.
Do both though, like unlist it and do it again.
Come on. It's ridiculous. Like a lot of people, I can't believe it. So I released both of them in 2020. I've kept them like unlisted for the last like maybe 2 years, 3 years. So anyways, I might turn it on. I might do it again.
I believe in you, Doc. And that's one of those things where, I mean, I followed you way back then. And it's one of those things where I know that you made good content back then. I forgot to tell you this. I got my first hate comment in a while.
Oh.
And I replied to him because it was funny because he's commented on one of my clips. And this is one of the few clips where I couldn't find the video to link it to. Maybe I should just link it to a random one. But I was talking about how polymaths are not the Renaissance person ideal. And a lot of people kind of see those two words as a synonym, or like two concepts as a synonym, like a Renaissance person being knowing everything. Polymath is someone with multi-expertise, like 3 or more, and insatiable curiosity. Simple as that. But 3 or more expertise is kind of the key point here. And the clip was talking about that. And this guy was like, you should not make content if you don't know what you're talking about. Like, it's all about interdisciplinarity, like interdisciplinariness between fields. And I'm like, dude, first off, this is what my entire channel is about. Like, don't make a comment on something that's just a short, it's a clip. Obviously a clip for the most part too. I mean, this is one of the few clips that actually kind of looks like I could have just recorded it as a, vertical on OBS. But it is a clip. Go watch the full-length video or something like that. It was one idea. The whole point of me sharing it was like, I want people to realize Renaissance person is not the same as polymath. And he took it a completely different direction. It's like, dude, what do you know?
Yep. No, but it shows that if he had enough time to write it, that's still good engagement. So it's causing emotion
engagement
somewhere.
to me, yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
Speaking of which, I need you to comment on our interview so I can like, heart, subscribe it, or not
See, now
like,
you're going
heart,
too.
pin,
Doing
and
too
reply
much.
to it.
All right, I will. I will.
I think before we wrap up
Oh,
here, there was one other thing I was gonna ask you. There was the first thing, which was the reconsidering the videos, and the second thing, which will, how many YouTube channels do you have concretely?
probably 5 to 6. Probably 5 to 6. I rotate them a lot. Mainly one, and then I have an experimental one, but I have tons. I have one that was meant mainly. Anyway,
Why haven't I
6.
seen these?
I don't talk about them. I don't talk
But
about
that's the
them
point. Like, I think that it's you're hiding your content ecosystem. That makes sense.
because the problem is I'm not updating them enough. I have to get to a certain thing, and then I will promote
You should,
them and talk about them.
well, either depreciate them and move all their content over to the main channel that were good. Although all the stuff that popped off on those channels, move it over, and then just depreciate that channel. Add. I always have like the recommended channels at the bottom. Just say like make a video saying, "Hey, no longer doing this channel. Go check out the main channel if you like this content," and link to the main one, obviously. But then even have recommended channels to your main channel at the bottom, and just like, send it off. Like you could probably do that to 4 of your channels. Have your main one and your experimental channel as your only two that you're working on, and just nip it in the butt.
I'll think about it. Let me think about it once I get up from my nap. But no, I
Okay.
like it. I like it. I like that idea.
Any questions about Obsidian before we wrap?
Not yet. I have to do more, and then I will have more comments next week. To be
If
continued.
you have a comment on any of these tools or on Obsidian down below, please hit us up.